We are here again. This is Immigrants Making an Impact. And today we have Cothney from France joining us. Cothney, how have you been?
I've been well. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Mommy. I'm very grateful.
Cool. And so you are studying in France. And where are you originally from? Where were you born? And why are you an immigrant?
I was originally born and raised in Italy.
Mhm.
I've been growing up in Italy for 14 years, and I moved later on in the UK, in England. And after that, I moved once again, for a study placement in France. So now I'm located in France.
So you love to move a lot. Why is that?
Well, the first time when I moved, it was mainly because of family motivations and as well my studying. So learning a language, in this case the English language directly in the country, it was actually a great privilege for me to do that. So it was perfectly fine to move. With France, when it came to move there, it was mainly for my university. So my degree, it offers an opportunity to do a study year abroad, and the study year abroad, I chose to do it in France. So that's why is the reason why I'm here.
Okay, so studying abroad, did you guys come in a group or you came by yourself?
No, by myself. By myself, a French university that I had to choose.
I want to know more, Courtney. Where does all this adventure come from? Because there are a lot of people like you who will not even dare to move away from home, away from the known to the unknown. So, what motivates you to do this?
What motivates me is the fact that I'm very drawn to things that usually people usually they like to be in their comfort zone. But
Mhm.
I've realized that the best way to grow is to be actually in the place where you're not comfortable. And in this case, I really seeked God to know which was the best place for me. And every time when I had to choose a place to be, it was always the place that was not comfortable. And that's why I find myself in places where I am by myself and I have to get by, by God's strength I get by, but I have not the luxury to have people that sustain me around most of the time. Those are the places where actually I grow up and I become the person that I am now and as well for the future.
Wow, very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So, let's dive into immigration and having moved to multiple countries. What does the word immigrant mean to you?
The word immigrant to me means courageous. It's not only that word, but the very first one that comes is courageous because you take steps to just be in a new place that is not comfortable to you, first of all, initially, and you're facing new challenges, and that's something that, you know, is not an everyday things for everybody, and you are facing it as an immigrant, and I see all that you're facing, and the very first thing that I would say to you is that you are courageous. So that's why I think that would be the first word that comes in my mind.
Oh, sweet. There's a lot that we can learn from you, Court. And moving on, how have you balanced honoring your heritage while adapting to the new countries that you are staying in?
Adapting to my heritage. Well, starting from the fact that I have Italian heritage and Nigerian heritage, I had to combine most of the time the two wherever I would go. And the way that I've tried to balance, first of all, with the one that is mostly dominant in me, which is the Italian heritage, which comes from my dad's side. I would say I always took the positive aspects from it, which are the cultural part, for instance, the cooking, the warmness. So I tried to keep that side of that heritage by implementing it even in the country where I was living in and I've been living in. And that's simply something that was very natural to do because I appreciate in this case, the Italian cooking. I appreciate the way that Italians are warm. And that's something that I think it would have been very positive to bring in another context where usually is not very common. Like it's something that actually helps as well to stand out, and people notice that, but in my case, I don't do it because I want people to notice me because of that, but I just do it because it's natural to me. So I balance by bringing this aspect on the Italian side, and instead on the Nigerian side, coming from my mom in this case, I tendentially bring the humor that comes from Nigerians, being around Nigerians. They are very funny, and my mom is very funny as well. So that one is something as well that is natural in me because, passing time with them, you become a bit like them. So that's something that as well it comes up when I interact with people, and I still keep it as part of myself every time. And yeah, I balance it like that.
Talking about, so you talked about getting out of your comfort zone has been the dominant fact that motivates you to live in multiple countries. And talking about that, how are you able to deal with challenges based on your mindset?
The very first thing that comes in my mind is my faith.
Mm.
So without that one, I am not able to face challenges in the way that I do. So relying on my faith as a Christian, that's my base first of all, and it what keeps me grounded to understand that things sometimes are not in my control, and most of the time, every time, basically. And the only way that I can keep going is by finding strength in the one that created whatever I have around myself. So, first of all, that's my first way to face anything. And, you know, at the end of the day, I am a human, and it's not always easy to do it, but it's the best way to do it. And I follow the best way. I want to follow the best way in every single thing that I put myself into. And yeah, I just do it this way. And also, as I mentioned, since I've put myself in so many uncomfortable situations, there's been traits of my character that I've developed. And those traits, such as endurance, such as being motivated, being hardworking, all those traits came from those uncomfortable situations. And these specific characteristics are what keeps me to face those challenges today. So it always goes back to say that those uncomfortable situations are as well the reason why I'm able to face the hardship that I face because of what I became after those facing those.
Excellent. So you talk about your faith and how putting yourself in uncomfortable situations has made you the woman that you are today. So it has built in you certain characteristics that help you to move on even when times are difficult. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so this conversation that we are having, in what ways do you hope that your story will inspire others in the immigrant community?
I'm I want to give the message to the immigrant community to not concentrate just on what's going on at the moment, but to really think about the bigger picture. The bigger picture that is the same picture that made them to move. So, as mentioned, things are not always easy, especially if you are somebody that lives a comfortable place to go to a place that is unknown. And it's very easy to get discouraged by how things are turning out at the moment. I repeat, at the moment. But it's always good to go past that and to reflect that what you're doing, first of all, in that country, is inspiring the next generation of people that are going to come after. So don't just think about you in that moment, but think about what kind of impact you're going to leave in whatever place you are in that moment and in the future when you're staying there. So my message would be this one. Just think about the impact that you're going to leave after everything that you're going to go through. And just thinking about that, I think is just it just makes it worth it that you're there.
So sweet. And the last time I checked in with you, you talked about how you want to be an ambassador. So I want to know, how does your roots influence this work that you want to do and even the work that you're already doing and the impact that you wanted to create? Or just simply tell us about why do you want to be an ambassador?
As I've mentioned before, having the roots of being an Italian, Nigerian background as well, living in England, living in France, living in different places, experiencing different things. I think that one extended really much my flexibility, my mind, and I think the best job so far for me to apply that flexibility of mindsets is seeing myself as an ambassador that is able to connect with other ambassadors from other countries. And for instance, I had the privilege to be invited recently to a very good ceremony in Lusaka at the Italian embassy. And for the first time, I've actually envisioned how ambassadors conduct their life and how they interact among each others. And I was so inspired, and I just felt that I was in the right place at the right time, basically. And seeing that for the first time and thinking about these experiences that I'm having, adding everything together, like it just makes sense for me to try that route. And with the background as well, with the studies that I do, it really makes sense. And as well as an accomplishment for me to think about it, since it's something very honorable to do, to try to connect people. As an ambassador, you need to connect people. And that's something that I love as well. Yes, simply the connection part. It really resonates with who I am. And that's the best route for me so far.
And could you tell us what does the work of an ambassador entail? Do you know?
Yes, I know part of it, which is collaboration with other countries, with the ambassadors of other countries to create, for instance, first of all, it's based on connection. So you connect with a specific ambassador, and you try to develop relationship to bring the best from each country that, in this case, you represent. So the ambassador of Italy, he connects with the ambassador of Nigeria, and there are good things that come from Nigeria that the ambassador of Nigeria tells to the ambassador of Italy. And the ambassador of Italy might find interest to say, okay, we can invest in this. We can find a common ground in this and come together to develop the two countries together. So that's practically what I understood from being somebody that is researching about becoming an ambassador.
Okay. I know that listening to you and your passion and how you're open to new experiences, getting out of your comfort zone, I think it is realistic that you will be able to become an ambassador. So don't give up on this dream. It may seem far away, but it's doable and you can do it.
Thank you.
Courtney, if you had a platform that reached every immigrant in 1 minute, what would you say to them?
1 minute, I could say that immigrants should not permit the medias to direct who they are. And I say this because, especially in the recent months, we have seen so much the media targeting immigration, targeting specifically maybe in this case illegal immigration. But the thing is, we try to put immigrants all in one same label, and the label that is typically given is negative. And I want to encourage immigrants to not permit the media to have the final say on that one, and to actually let the medias know what kind of impact they're doing in the country they are, and what kind of support they're giving to the country where they are. And it's important to not be passive about this and let the propaganda that is trying to go around right now to diminish what is truly the challenges that the immigrant faces and what kind of skills and all the positive things that immigrants bring to a country. So that's important for me right now to say to the immigrant community.
You have hit the hammer right on the nail that we needed to hear this because we shouldn't allow the media to dictate who we are as immigrants. There are so many positive and impactful things that we are doing, and we need to focus on that
Absolutely.
and keep going.
Absolutely. And that's my encouragement that I really feel is very contemporary right now to say.
Courtney, looking at your background as an Italian, as a Nigerian, many young people tend to shy away from who they are, especially being an African woman. Sometimes our children do not even want to learn their local language. They don't want to have anything to do with where they come from. What advice would you give to such a group of people?
First of all, I want to say that I completely understand when they want to do that, especially in contexts like the country that I come from, Italy. So I just want to give a bit of background of the situation in terms of the new generation of people living in Italy with immigrant background. So basically, many immigrants many people that come from parents that have been immigrants, they find themselves discriminated in terms of not being seen with the nationality of the place where they have grown.
Hmm.
And that's very sad, and it brings that rejection of the actual background coming from the parents. And the rejection, I understand it. I don't approve it, but I understand it since it has become as a limitation to the rights that they should have in the country where they're staying in.
Mm.
But I want to say that that's the actual purpose of why they want to limit the appreciation that you should have for your background. And the purpose is to not permit you to be proud of where your background is from, where you come from. And I believe it's very important to be proud of where you come from because that's where your confidence starts from as well. That's where you actually understand how to develop for the future and what kind of legacy you can continue to bring from that. So my thing is, as I understood rejection part, I think the rejection should not continue. Since that diversity or that background, anyway, that background that you have is something unique that you can actually use to your workplace, to your school environment, anywhere. And that background, it brings so much diversity in a positive way, and acceptance as well for the people that are seeing that diversity, that background, and for yourself as well. And my thing is massively important to keep heritage, that sense of this is my heritage, because this heritage can be passed on. And if you're not proud of that, you can't pass it on. And you just lose something so important and so precious that makes you different and makes you different in such a positive way. People are scared to be different and they don't understand that being different is actually a added value. And this is what happens when people reject, in this case, as you said, the things like trying to understand the local language from the places where they come from, trying to delve deeper in the heritage of what's the background from. That's what happens. You just lose the difference that makes you unique. And you're just trying to conform to everybody else, which is not worth it. And you're just losing out completely.
Courtney, we could listen to you all day. You are such a young lady, but an old soul. You are so wise and you speak from the heart. There's a lot that you know that beats my mind. So I think we need to have some of these conversations more. And yourself as an individual, you need to share some of these stories, some of these experiences, some of these knowings on your social platforms and every platform that you get to encourage your age group because many of them are lost. They are following trends and it doesn't make them who they are. They are totally lost. Just as you said, if you embrace your identity, your culture, your background, it helps you to be confident enough to follow your passion. It becomes your springboard to every decision that you make. So excellent job done. Thank you. Thank you from speaking from the heart. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you, mommy. Thank you so much for what you said.
So, Courtney, what one action can listeners take today to support and uplift immigrants in their local area?
I believe one way to do that is to do what you wanted to be done to you. That's something that I think I've learned very well in my recent experience in Zambia as well. And essentially, when I was in Zambia, um, I was there for a period. I'm a foreigner in Zambia, obviously. And I've met so many foreigners there as well that they have been there for a period and they treated me so well and they treated me in the way that they wanted to be treated when they arrived in the country. And that's something that I think it really can resonate with anybody's just arriving in a new country. When there is an immigrant and you are a fellow immigrant as well, just be the first one to say that hi to that person that just arrived. Just be the first person to just be available to support with the bureaucracy, to support with being present in the first steps for that immigrant. Essentially, just do what you wished it was done to you when you just arrived. That's simply what I think would be the very first step to support each other's.
The golden rule, do unto others what you want to be done for
And it's
you.
so simple,
So simple.
so
What is
simple.
your dream project and how can we support you today?
My recent project, again, it comes from the experience that I had in Zambia. It's linked to the school that I work with. So my dream project would be to develop the school where I worked with as much as it can be done. And the thing is that the school has needs, has infrastructural needs, has food-wise needs, as many needs because they have 150 kids to teach to. And essentially, my desire is to ask to anybody that is interested to support the school or to get to know more about the project that I did there in order to understand what are the needs of the school, is to contact me and to have a conversation with me to understand what can be done. The main objective right now from that dream project is to see that school developed as much as they can because they need sponsors, they need investors to do that. And I've been the first, like one of the first ones to do that right now. But I really believe that there can be many more by seeing what kind of work has been done so far and what kind of work can be done later on so as well.
That's a great call to action. Could you tell us a bit about what you want to do in Zambia?
What I want to do in Zambia is to develop startup community school in terms of bringing better infrastructures within the school. The kids that I've teach to, they were lacking tables, they were lacking chairs, and these are simply things that they can be so small in terms of being provided in a school, but it is actually a great challenge in countries like Zambia, especially where the government doesn't invest in every single school equally. That would be my plan to see infrastructures simple as more tables and more chairs and less problems for the learners to learn like that. Because if they have enough chairs and enough tables, they can just have a better level of concentration, first of all. I've seen it with my eyes. I've been teaching kids that unfortunately were distracted by the fact that they had to squeeze in one chair. The free kids, they have to squeeze in one chair just to simply have the best view of a board. And other things, toilets, things that's simple like that.
Courtney is emotional right now, guys, and this is going to be an audio conversation, but I wish you could
Sorry.
see her eyes and see the place where she is speaking from. She has experienced it, and I think we can all join forces and offer support to these kids who are really yearning to learn, to
Yes,
give them the opportunity and the platform to receive quality education, and it will go a long way to make this world a better place. So let's come together. Let's connect with Courtney
we're
on
linked.
LinkedIn. Please
Yeah, my
contact
email
her.
as well.
And via email. I'm going to share all that in the show notes. So please contact her and together, let's move mountains.
Yes.
Courtney, what song, quote, or tradition keeps you grounded or motivated?
What song or tradition keeps me grounded?
It can be a quote as well.
If it's a quote, I have actually two quotes.
Mm.
And my first one is with God at the control station, possibilities are endless. That's my first one because that one is the one that I've seen really proved in all the experiences that I've done so far since becoming a Christian as well. And that's my first one. Um, the second one is the seeds you sow today will grow into the tree that you will eat from tomorrow. And this one as well is grounded on the fact that hard work really pays off. Hard work that you're doing now. And sometimes it feels so heavy to do it, to do things for your future. But from that heaviness that you feel, you know that actually that's what you're supposed to do. And simply, what I'm trying to do right now is to consistently apply these two things and to keep applying them because I want my future to be better and the future of who I have around me to be better. But the thing is starts that when you see these things just for yourself, so you want to achieve these things just for you is understandable. But when you actually see that what you want to achieve is as well for the benefit of others, I think that's the very strongest way that you can have a purpose for. And applying these two things and really trying to reach for my future based on these two quotes that I can apply to make other benefit from the future that I'm trying to create for myself is the best thing that I can do right now.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing it with us. So, with God in the control room, the possibilities are endless. It concludes the conversation. And also, the seeds that you sow today will be the trees that you're going to pluck from later in the future.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Two amazing quotes from a great book that I've read,
Mhm.
which I could even advise.
Please do us the honor. Which book is that?
This book is called Praise from Yvonne Orji, How
Mm.
God Tricked Me into the Life of My Dreams.
Oh, wow.
It's
How
very
God
good. You can see
tricked me.
How God Tricked Me, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Thank you for sharing this with us. Courtney, what do you think the world loses when immigrants are not fully seen, heard, or supported?
The world forgets that it's actually the diversity that the migrants bring when they move in other places is the added value that these words have. Everything that we see around us, it comes from people actually not staying where they are, but they moving away from where they are most of the time. Everything that we see that has developed. Practically, I would like to think about an example of somebody that moved and developed something very beautiful in another place. And there are many examples. It's just right now I don't have a precise one. But you see, the world needs that movement to develop. In fact, yes, my example, I have it now. The example comes, for instance, from China, migration of Chinese moving into Zambia. And many Chinese today, they are developing a lot in Zambia, as many Indians have developed a lot in Zambia, as many Kenyans, as many Ghanaians have developed a lot in South Africa, as many Nigerians have developed a lot in the UK, as many Italians have developed a lot in the United States. Everything that you've seen developed from these people, they have been great assets for the country. And you can't tell me that that's not a positive thing. And going back to the question, this is something important to be remembered from what the migrants do anywhere they are.
Wonderful. So finally, we are concluding this conversation, Court, and I would love that you complete the sentence for me. So being an immigrant has taught me.
Hmm. Being an immigrant has taught me many things. The main one is that hardship is not the final sentence in the situation that we go through. As an immigrant, I've faced a lot in terms of going through the system in each country that I've been in. And it always seemed such a heavy load every time when I was going through those processes that they were very long. For instance, processes regarding joining the sanitary system in specific country, for instance, in France, in the UK, it always has been long, different things basically, with a long process in order to be settled like regular in the country. And being an immigrant has taught me that hardship is not the final sentence. So everything that I go through, it is for the moment, but it's going to get better, and that better is going to help me later on. And I need to keep going. No limits. There's no limits for me in that in this moment, even though it seems that I have it in front of me, but I need to keep going in order to put it at the side and go to the next one.
The hardship doesn't remain, so keep going. I'm so glad you came, Courtney. You have
I'm
shared
so
with
glad that you
us
invited me.
amazing wisdom nuggets and your experiences, give us a lot of lessons. And I appreciate the fact that you have taught us to get out of our comfort zone. And that is where growth is. That is where passion is. That is where our goals, our ambitions, that is where everything is grounded. And also, you talked about how we shouldn't shy away from our culture, our background, our diversity, and that is where we can gain the confidence to be our best self. Yes, so please give us one last sentence in Italian and Nigerian, and that would be our last words.
In Nigerian, it's going to be quite complicated. In Italian, I can start off with the Italian. Let me do Italian. In Italian, parlando a tutti gli italiani che possono sentirmi in questo momento, voglio dire che l'immigrazione è una cosa positiva. Non permettiamo ai media di scaricare ogni tipo di motivazione cattiva verso i migranti, ma in realtà i migranti aiutano il paese e il paese si estende per i migranti, come gli italiani erano migranti in America e hanno esteso gli Stati Uniti, anche i migranti adesso oggi in Italia stanno estendendo l'Italia. That was a quite long phrase, but do I have to translate it or the people that will hear it understand?
No, that's fine. Gracias.
Right. Prego.
All right, girl. Thank you.